It's a new day.
This is New Day Northwest. Now, here's Margaret Larson.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2018. First up, a new cookbook is showing us all the different ways to prepare a Pacific Northwest staple. The book, entitled Crab, features 50 recipes with a fresh taste of the sea, and we're about to see a few of the delicious recipes. Joining me now is the author, Cynthia Nims. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Margaret.
I love that the title tells you exactly what we're going to get.
This is what we're doing.
Crab.
It's all about crab.
So why did you decide this topic?
Well, I think crab is one of the most distinctive foods of the Northwest. We have a lot of products from the Northwest you can find in all sorts of parts of the world, or and around the country too. Wild mushrooms and oysters are from other parts of the country that, you know, have really great selections. But Dungeness crab is really our West Coast crab, and I think it really signifies a lot of what's delicious about living where we do.
And most of us know, well, we cook it, we serve drawn butter, but we don't know about all of these other cool things that we can do. So let's talk about what we're going to cook. Do you want to talk about what you've put together already?
Sure. I think one of the things about crab, and there's nothing wrong with just steam it and have it with butter, and I think a lot of folks like to stop there, and that's great. You know, it's hard to argue with that. But for the times you want a little variety in your diet, or you know, you just get tired of just the steamed crab, I thought that was one of the fun things for me about the book, was just coming up with all these varieties of ways to prepare it. So we do have some regular, straightforward whole crab recipes in there. Today I'm going to be demoing a salad that has blood oranges and fennel with crab. It's very light and festive. And I'm a huge fan of retro Green Goddess flavor. So this is a Green Goddess salad that in the book is a sandwich, but I brought a couple different variations on the theme to show how versatile it is. So you can put it in endive or just have it on crackers. And then I don't think folks think about roasting crab. So this is one of my favorites. It's just fresh rosemary, sliced lemon, garlic, a little olive oil, and you toss it in the oven. You can even grill crab. So I think it's kind of fun to play around with the variety of options.
And these things always talk to me about brunch and lunch. They say that's when you would want to serve these
and variety,
have fun.
A variety of ways to serve it, and even have breakfast things in there too.
Breakfast crab.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, I did a Dutch baby, a savory Dutch baby with crab and mushrooms, omelet, frittata, those kind of things. Even an eggs Benedict that you totally class up with Dungeness crab.
Yes. All right. So how do we make this?
So we're going to start with the fennel bulb. So this is a whole fennel bulb, and it's really pretty easy. It looks maybe a little intimidating, but it's not that hard to prepare. I start by just cutting off the root end, and then you cut off the stems. And when the bulb does have some of these nice fronds, you can pluck off a couple to save for garnish. Yeah, they don't always have those available. And then you just need to cut it down and expose this little core that's kind of tough. You just cut that out. Yep, just cut that out.
Now, for some reason, if I have a chunk of fennel, I don't like it. But when we slice it thinly,
I think there's a lot to be said for that.
It tastes beautiful,
and it's a little lighter. It doesn't seem quite so strong.
Right.
Yes.
Because it has kind of a. Is it a licorice
flavor? It's a licorice-y flavor.
But when you get it really thinly sliced, then it absorbs whatever flavor is around
and it does play well with other ingredients.
Be careful with your fingers. I will tell you.
So
from
I do have a glove at home that I wear. I'm not going to go very far on this one. So use a handy dandy little slicer, and you're going to get very lovely little thin, like you're saying, those delicate little thin slices that we like. And then the other ingredient in here is blood oranges, which are available right now. They're a little bit seasonal. They're not always available. Sometimes there's a tinge on the skin. You may or may not see that. It might look like a regular orange, but when you slice into it, you're going to see that the flesh has a little bit of a ruby tone. So what I'm doing is cutting down to just the skinless sections.
Oh, you're good at that.
Well, it takes just a little bit of practice, but basically you're just using a small knife to go around the curve of the fruit. And I won't finish this one because I've got some in here already.
But then when you're alert, so you don't cut yourself.
But not too much coffee. So, and then what you do is you go down inside each of the sections, and then you plop out, and you've got these beautiful little
they're like little
sections.
Fillets of orange.
Little fillets of orange.
They're beautiful.
And your friends will be very impressed with you when you do this.
Oh, they're just pretty, and there's something about the flavor, and I don't know if it's a little sweeter or whatever, but it seems like it has a really
festive,
exotic,
right?
Yeah,
and then what you do is you saw I was doing this over the bowl because you actually want to catch that juice too. Right. That's going to become part of your vinaigrette. And when you're done and you've got all the sort of the skin that's left, you just squeeze it and get the maximum of juice out.
Okay.
So that's a really simple technique. It does take a teeny bit of practice just to get that curve cutting down.
Well, I don't mind practicing. Can I have a bite of fennel?
You may, of course, yes. So now we've got our, and the nice thing about this recipe too is you just throw everything in the bowl. So you section the oranges directly into the bowl, And then you can slice your fennel directly into the bowl, as you know, as I showed.
Easy enough.
Whoops.
Most of these come with a little guard too that you can use. I'm just
Yeah,
saying this
I
because I
know.
went to the emergency room.
I know. And
with a finger that it was almost gone.
you can use a guard, and then there's gloves you can use,
be
and
careful.
then always stop before the last slice, because
Yes.
it's that last, you know, when you're like, oh, I just can do one
Or
more.
in my case, I was watching CNN and doing
Oh,
this.
don't do that. No
That's-
multitasking. Yeah. And
Don't
so
do it.
for this particular recipe, you don't need to get crab in the shell. You can just get the bulk crab meat at the
Okay.
store, or if you're lucky enough to have a bunch, you just pick your own out of the shell.
Great.
And then the one thing you do want to do is pick through the meat with your fingers a little bit before you add it to a recipe, because you can find little pieces of, you know, either some membrane or little
Yep.
pieces of shell that you
That
don't
we
want to
don't
have
want.
in there. Right. So otherwise, it's just good to go. Toss it in there. When you get the bulk meat, you may find that you get nice pieces of leg meat, so you want to set them aside so you can use them for garnish, as I did here
Okay.
on the
So you have
on the
some nice
salad.
lumps for the
right.
top.
Right.
Okay.
And then it's
Dressing?
just a little bit of vinaigrette. I'm just going to get my crabby hands clean. A little vinegar, some olive oil, sliced green onions,
Yum.
pinch of salt and pepper.
You're being
And-
generous with that. That's,
Yeah, well,
good-
that's
good
to
to
my
know.
taste.
Yeah,
And
me
then
too.
this is the fronds that I have chopped up a little bit too.
Right.
So if you have those on the fennel bulb, go ahead and save them. Then you just toss it up.
And that's all there is to it.
And that's all there
when
is
you
to it.
served You put
Yeah.
the lumps on top and a couple of
Yeah,
little
and so
fronds.
there's crab meat throughout, and then you
That's
save these lovely
beautiful.
fennel fronds to put on top as a
Beautiful.
garnish. And it's perfectly great with just regular navel oranges if the blood aren't available.
Right.
But the blood just obviously give it a little
beautiful.
rosy, gorgeous color.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you did this, and these are great ideas. And plus, the book is the right size to keep
It's
in
a
your
great
kitchen.
gift
It's
for all
not one of
those-
those cookbooks that's you know the size of your fridge. And good news for everybody in today's studio audience: everybody's going home with a copy of the book Crab. So we're going to be eating like kings. Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
Appreciate it.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year to you. Coming up, okay, this wasn't the happiest news. Hawk Zone with my pal Terry Holloman as we consider what needs to happen in the off season for the Seahawks. We'll be back after this. Thank you.
This New Day cooking segment brought to you by Ferguson Bath Kitchen and Lighting Gallery, powered by Electrolux.